How about that? That better? Is that better, y'all? Hit me a one in the comments if you hear it now. That should be it. I think I hit the mic thing. If anybody can hear me, let me know real quick before I go any further, because otherwise I'll just start this over again. There you go. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was me. So I'm gonna start over again just to let y'all know. I I don't even know what happened with that. Sorry about that, y'all. Um, Appreciate y'all coming in. This is your Uncle Steve here on Uncle Steve's Lounge. It is Sunday. It is time to get into a little bit of Falcon talk, but I wanted to talk about something a little bit more hypothetical. Appreciate everyone coming in and everyone for telling me about the sound. I see y'all uh, come in. I see you, John Brooks. Thank you, Travis. Appreciate you, Brian. Thank you. But thank you, Brian. I think you were the first one to tell me about the sound. Thank you so much, Ricky. I see you up there. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Um, Thank y'all for letting us know. Travis, Eldridge in the house. What's going on? Thank you for my folks watching on Facebook. I'm gonna talk to that in a second. My brother Dexter is in the house. Brian Davis is in here. Carlo in here. Appreciate you. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna play. eh, I know a lot of people are doing drafts and stuff. That's cool. I'm probably even though I participated in mock draft stuff. It's so hard for me because I'm probably not very versed on the college game and a lot of the folks that are coming up and the guys from the D1, I mean D2 schools and who's doing the best in the combine and all that. I just happen to be a real fanatic type of fan. And I really, as long as other people are telling me the person is good, I'm gonna go with it, to be honest with you, because I probably am not, if I'm honest with myself, and I know a lot of you can probably say the same thing, that um, I may not be as versed in it. That's why I have good friends like my buddy Smitty's Sports Machine, Alberto from 95 North, Big Low Country Sports, um, guys like that, and y'all make sure y'all check them out. That always, and oh man, I'm forgetting Chris, A1 Forever. Don't forget Tip. Y'all make sure y'all check his channel out as well. There are so many people that are versed on that, so I just go along for the ride. To be honest with you, when it comes to draft talk and listen to what a lot of those guys have to say. So, what I wanted to do today was I wanted to do somewhat of a fantasy draft, and not draft, a fantasy free agent type of pickup. So, this is what we're going to do. So, as the roster is currently constructed, and I know we don't have any draft picks, so just play along just to do. So my son and I were having a conversation, and I was telling him about all these people from the past, from the Falcons, who would fill in this spot and fill in that spot. And he was like, "Well, dang, man. I mean, you know, eh, you can't go back and get the people in the past." And I said, "You know what? Yes, I can." So today, that's what we're gonna play. I need two players that you would say you can put on this Falcons team, and not only would we make the playoffs, we would be in competition for a championship. Now, the first two positions that I thought of were probably not, well, one of them I think everybody talks about, but the two positions I'm talking of are not the pretty positions so much. But if I had a chance to get two guys that I know would ensure that this would be a great team, I would get Mike Ken, and it had to be a Falcon, had to be a former Falcon. I would get Mike Ken to come in at tackle, and I'd swing him over there to the right side where my buddy Caleb McGarry is, and God bless him. He's great in run block, but I got Kirk Cousins back there who's coming back from injury, and I need somebody to block that side. And then the obvious defensive end spot, I wrestled back and forth with this because y'all gotta probably remember I know I got a couple of folks with me who've been around for the long haul. A lot of people are gonna say at defensive end, John Abraham, but I would get a defensive end, and my defensive end would be Claude Humphrey. And I'm telling y'all, if you didn't get a chance to see Claude Humphrey in his day, not the clips, and see what he did and how he wreaked havoc, even though some of those bad Falcon teams when I was younger. And it is great that he finally got his shine later on, um, uh, before he passed. But um, just a great defensive end and a great and I don't even think they were officially uh doing the sack totals all the way back then. So he might not be on the all-time list, but trust me, there are a lot of sacks uh, that he had because he came in 1970. I know they didn't keep up stats back then, but that's what I want from y'all. I want two names. They could both be offense, both be defense, both one of each, however you want to do it. Two Falcons from the past that you could bring and magically bring on the 2024 team to help us get this team ready for a championship. And then, of course, my entertainment question today, y'all know I always come with one entertainment question on a Sunday night because it's kind of a Sunday chill. My Sunday question is name a movie that is popular, but you've never seen before. I thought about it today, not today, a couple of days ago. I thought about it because somebody brought up Drew Barrymore. And I like Drew Barrymore. I don't like go watch all her movies, but I like Starter. I don't even know the movie is the one when she was pretending to be a kid and she went teenager or something and she went Never Been Kissed. I think that's the name of it. But Drew Barrymore was also in E.T. And I have never, ever, 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 ever watched E.T. I don't know how it starts. I don't know how it ends. Well, I don't know. Seen, you know, clips of ET going up in the air on the bicycle. But I just never seen that. And that's just something that's just kind of crazy to me. Not even so much that I haven't seen it, just that everyone first time I you know, we'll go through that. Somebody say ET and say, yeah, I never seen ET. You never saw ET? No, never saw ET. So that's something that we want to do today. So two things. I need everyone to participate today, and I appreciate everyone coming in. Two things, two players from the Atlanta Falcons past that you would put on the 2024 team to help us really compete for a championship. I gave you mine already. Mine was Claude Humphrey for defensive end and Mike Ken for tackle. Solidify that offensive line for Kirk Cousins and bring us some legitimate rush on the quarterback. And then the second question is name a popular movie that you have never seen before. And mine was E.T. So let's get into the chat again. Appreciate y'all and sorry so much about the sound and everything like that. Sorry about that. That happens, but thank you everybody for staying in here. Maddie is in the house. What's going on, Maddie? He says Tony G and John Abraham. It's kind of interesting. Now, again, I'm not going to tell you how to do your team because that's two good ones. Tony G. Um, would you replace Kyle Pitts or you would do a two tight end thing, kind of have him playing the Jonu Smith role? Because one of them cats gonna have to block if they're on the field. But John Abraham, you can't go wrong. Like I say, I tussled with that back and forth the foul because I actually thought about Patrick Kearney too. People don't realize Patrick Kearney did a lot of damage on that Mike Vick team they had back then. He was really all of that. Ron, what's going on? Ron Thomas in the house. What's going on, brother? Eldridge says Brett Favre and Morton Anderson. That's an interesting as we all know, Brett Favre, we probably uh, uh, Jerry Glanville didn't exactly have a lot of patience with Brett, and he moved on to Green Bay to become a legend, and we were stuck with Chris Miller. So that didn't work out. And of course, the legendary Morton Anderson, who happens to be the all-time leading scorer for us and our hated rivals, the New Orleans Saints. That's a pretty good one. Travis in the house. What's going on, Travis? Travis says, I'm taking Deion Sanders and John Abraham. Okay. Dion would solidify, get that other spot. You keep AJ on the right side, let Dion roam the other side. That would be good. And John Abraham, of course, to bring that pass rush legitimate. But I'm telling you, if you have AJ and Dion Sanders back there with Jesse Bates in there at safety, I don't know if you're gonna get anything. I don't think you're gonna get anything back there in the throws, at least. That's a good two people you picked that there. Elgin says Joel Richardson, not Joel, Joel Richardson and William Andrews. And Eldridge, you probably right there in my pocket there because Joel Richardson, man, I'm just trying to tell y'all, y'all just don't know. That cat was all of that during the grit splits team. Uh, very underrated linebacker. And William Andrews, I've been very vocal. That's my favorite Falcon of all time. William Andrews would be a whole different animal back here in the backfield. I think you could still let Bijan do Bijan things, but I'm telling you, man, William Andrews, whoo, a battering ram. Y'all think Derrick Henry was something, but no, I'm just telling you. Dexter says my two would be Rod Coleman and John Abraham. And important because going to a 3-4, Dexter, you right on point. That would be a great nose tackle in there. And John Abraham, of course, brings the fire every time. Antonio, what's going on, sir? Happy Sunday to you as well. Eldridge says his movie is Gladiator. You know what? That's another one. I have not seen Gladiator. I've never seen. I hear everybody talk about it, but I've never seen Gladiator. Never ever. As yeah, I always hear Russell Crowe was great in that. Uh, Winston Thornton from the Eye Test. Y'all make sure y'all check out the Eye Test. They usually come on Wednesdays, I think at 10 o'clock. Check out him and John Harris doing their thing. Said, what's going on, Unc in chat? Smash that like button. And he's right. If you have coming in here, thank you so much for joining us. Hit that like button for me if you don't mind. Appreciate it whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube. I did want to make one disclaimer. Uh, these next 3 or 4 weeks are probably going to be my last time streaming into Facebook, the Atlanta Bird game, because they are changing the rules on Facebook. Meta is making uh, not going to allow third party apps into Facebook to stream. So I use StreamYard. Sometimes I used to use Be Live quite a bit. And I know a lot of people say they've got some go arounds that you can do it, but I'm going to try to steer most of my audience to go to YouTube. And I don't want to alienate my brothers and sisters from Atlanta Bird Gang. But coming up in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to hope and pray we can move all of y'all over to YouTube. I see a lot of you have done it already, but we're going to try to do most of our stuff over on YouTube if we can. But just a housekeeping note for the next couple of weeks. Dexter says, Star Wars. Man, love some Star Wars now. Ain't gonna lie to you. Okay, I hear you. A lot of people might not be sci-fi though, and I can understand that. I'm probably going back to the Gladiator thing. I'm not a Roman times, I don't know, medieval type stuff as well. So he'll just say, dang, oh, you never see ET. Did you play the ET game on Atari? No, I didn't. Man, I was a Pong and all the sports things, man. Never did. Never did at all. I did not. My bad. Ricky says, "I'm taking a prime Julio Jones and prime time." And look, and when you say the player, you know, you don't even have to worry about putting the time period because I know what you're talking about, Rick. You talking about Julio. You ain't talking about that guy the last 2 or 3 years who was kind of, I don't want to say a total fraud, but he wasn't as great as he was in prime time. Those are two very good players. We still need another receiver, so that's actually not a bad pick. Uh, Brian says Joel Williams and Scott Case, another one. Scott Case is so crazy. Scott Case will probably be known more for that 1 year he was in Dallas than he was here with it when he was here in Atlanta. And he was a nobody wanted to go across the middle where Scott Case was doing stuff um, here in Atlanta. Scott Case was a beast, and again, Joel Williams very underrated. Travis says popular movie I've never seen, Titanic. Let me tell you something. I was dating my wife, uh, and we went to see Titanic. God is my witness. Man, that is a long one. That's a long movie. I fell asleep, and it's a good movie. Make it clear. I'm not saying it's a slouch. It's a really good movie, but whew, that's a long time. That's a long time in there. But it was a good movie. So let's say that. Winston says I'm still working to complete the Revenant. It, I just saw not Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio talk about that movie with him and Tom Hardy. Uh, and I hear that's a pretty good movie too, but I haven't seen it either. I heard a lot of people say good stuff about it. John Brooks says mine would be Jamal Anderson and Deion Sanders. And popular movie I've never seen is Caddyshack. Now I've seen parts of Caddyshack, so I don't want to act like I've never seen parts of it. So, mm, I mean, I know a lot of people like that. Yeah, you ain't missing much from from what I saw. But Jam in the backfield, Jamal Anderson, you cannot go wrong. Running back Deion Sanders, and y'all got to remember now. Keep in mind when y'all giving me these names, these are not just your popular players. These are players that are fit. Now, Jamal Anderson is great, but you already got Bijan and Tyler. So when y'all telling me players, remember Bijan is Tyler are still going to be on the roster. So you're going to bring in a three-headed monster with Jamal Anderson. I would want to use that position to help us out. They're going to be on the roster anyway. So you see what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. No disrespect. Almost kind of like when they were talking about earlier about Brett Favre. Brett Favre would be good, but if we already have Kirk Cousins on the roster, I'm talking about somebody else who can help the roster as opposed to supplanting somebody who's already there. That's why the Deion Sanders thing makes a lot of sense because we really don't have that other corner. So that would make a lot of sense. Sergeant First Class Jay Williams in the house. What's going on? Says Tyson Clabo and Patrick Kearney. Tyson Clabo is pretty good as well. Patrick Kearney, man, I said another one, underrated, very underrated. Popular movies I've not seen, The Notebook and Frozen. I got through half of The Notebook, and that's a really good movie as well. And Frozen, you know, I, I don't know if you have any kids or not, but I didn't want to see Frozen, but once I saw Frozen, I got what the hype was about. The storyline is th- totally a twist at the end, and I like movies like that. That was a good movie, Frozen. So yeah, get a chance to check that out. David Starks is in the house. What's going on, Dave? He said, "I'll take Prime Roddy and Prime Julio." So again, that's that's good. We need a couple of receivers on the team, and I'll take both of them. I hear you. That would definitely make things better. Brian says Patrick Kearney and Todd McClure. Wow, you got Mud Duck coming in there. That Mud Duck would absolutely help this offensive line. That's actually a good one. I kinda missed that one as well as, Drew Dahlman, I'm probably not as high on. David says, "Original Top Gun." That's crazy 'cause, um, I've seen the original several times. I actually bought, or downloaded Top Gun: Maverick, and I still haven't seen it yet. So what a dumb purchase. But I keep hearing about it. So one day I'm gonna sit down and watch the whole thing. But that's cool. Yeah, the Top Gun. What's up, man? The coach's corner is in the house. What's going on, Dre? He says, what's up, my two would be John Abraham and Dion. You can't go wrong. Both of those are positions of need. And so that would fit. So I hear what y'all saying. So that is a perfect example of filling two spots that we need with past Falcons. Big John Higgins is in the house. What's going on, man? I said, Uncle Steve, what's happening with ya? Gladiator was a good one, Uncle Steve. Yeah. Gladiator again. I couldn't tell you. I heard he was good. He won an Academy Award for that too, didn't he? I think so. Jimmy Hall in the house. What's going on, Jimmy? He said Pat Kearney and John Abraham said he would get two bookend guys. So I don't blame him. Said Pat was super good against the run and the pass. Him and Abe would improve the pass rush automatically. My movie I've never seen is Deadpool. Deadpool, I've seen. Matter of fact, it's crazy. I saw the sequel before I saw the first one. Eh, I mean, to me. So don't go check it out for yourself. If you have, I don't think you're missing much, but a lot of people like that stuff. So I don't know. Antonio says Sanders because he is a multi-role player at cornerback, wide receiver, kick return, and punt return. That's actually a good point. And Jesse Toggle to uh, get things rounded up. Yeah, Jesse is actually a uh, really good thing there. Eldridge says, "Is the YouTube page Uncle Smitty's Lounge? If so, I'm on it." No, mine is Uncle Steve's Lounge. Uncle Steve's Lounge. That's what it is. And matter of fact, if you look on on this on the YouTube part, you should be able to push it and be able to see the link on there. I would appreciate that, brother, if you did that. Yeah, like push the little picture of my bobblehead, and you'll be able to get it. Thank you, Eldridge. I appreciate that, bro. Um, Antonio says The Shining is a movie I never watched. The Shining is good. That's a really good movie, and you need to check that out. Jack in his finest. It is crazy, as I should say. Ray in the house. What's going on, Ray? How you feeling, brother? Uh, John Higgins says, Uncle Steve, I just came in. What's on the menu? Two different things today. We need two Falcons from the past that you would bring to help the 2024 team. I'm saying that because as much as I've seen some names, which again, y'all can pick and choose whatever you want, but that's what you feel. Some of y'all might not like Kirk Cousins. So if you say Brett Favre, you might say Brett Favre could take Kirk Cousins' place and put him on the bench. But I think the spirit of what I was trying to say was two guys that you can say uh, would come in and help this team in need positions like we have. My two were Mike Ken and Claude Humphrey. We need another tackle on the right side, in my opinion, because Caleb McGarry, his pass protection, let's face it, that's not what he got paid for. He probably got paid for his run blocking, and of course, you want one of the best to ever do it, Claude Humphrey, at that rush position. Even though John Abraham was a close second to me. Eldridge says, so funny. I went on a date to see Titanic 2. Me and old girl didn't work out. I fell asleep. Not a big, not a big, not a big, not a big Leo fan, eh? I hear you. Got first super chat in the house. My buddy Greg in here.
They say why, Uncle Steve will read your comment. Why? Because I like it that way.
That is my brother Greg from Greg Custom Kicks in the house. What's going on, Greg? He said, I just want to thank you, Unc, Tidy, Smitty, etc., for supporting my shoe business. I don't mind supporting either one of y'all. Hashtag support. Not only will we, I'll shout it out again, Greg. Y'all make sure y'all go check him out at Greg Custom Kicks. I don't just talk about it. I am a customer as well. He done great work with shoes. He got made some nice custom shoes for me this past year, and he's gonna work on my Vegas shoes. You know, I talked about those black shoes, but I'll get with you offline, Greg, and we're gonna get together on that because I need some shoes to run out there to Vegas with this year. So I need you to help a brother out, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Love S is in the house, telling Antonio he had some good picks. Thanks for joining me in here. Angel Crosswalker, what's going on? Says Dion and Abraham, and the movie is Avatar. That's crazy. Um, Avatar was one of those movies I had not seen when it first came out, and a couple of years later, I don't know, man. Ah, I know a lot of people. I can't argue with it because everybody goes to see it. I think both movies, the original and the sequel, are two of the top grossing of all times, but I didn't get into it. Matter of fact, I haven't even seen the sequel, but the first one, eh, I don't know. Antonio says, Top Gun Maverick is that movie. Yeah, and that's why I got it. So I'm gonna check it out. I just haven't had an opportunity because I love Top Gun. So I know I'm gonna love Maverick, but for some reason, I guess I just hadn't pulled it up. Sorry about that. That one Falcon fan was good, Unc. This one was tough, but I have to go with Matt Ryan. Okay. And John Abraham. That's actually, I was waiting for somebody to say Matt Ryan. I know it didn't end well, but man, we're gonna appreciate, especially the further away we get from a championship. Until we get closer, man, we're gonna appreciate what Matt was because again, from 2008 to 2016, with a couple of hiccups between 14 and 15, I mean, Matt had us consistent. You can't say he didn't. So, uh, you know, it's Ricky says, never saw Harry Potter, wasn't allowed as a youth. I'm telling you, man, especially I don't know what kind of home you. I know a lot of people who had Christian homes that they didn't go for all that bippity boppity boo. So I get it. I watched maybe one or two, and it just takes a while for me to get into it. I can't do it, y'all. I can't do it. So another super chat in the house. Let's see what we got in here. That's Dre in here with the super chat.
Yeah, 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 yeah. When you chew it, Uncle Steve, you better come correct. We got your super chat. We got that head knock that make you break your neck. We got your super chat. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
My brother Dre in the house. Thank you, Dre. Always appreciate you supporting the channel, my friend. He said, I got it on. Oh, yeah, yes, you did. That the move that makes us a dynasty. Croy. Man, let me tell you something, boy. Croy, you talk about Corey Bilber, man. Corey mesmerized us for a season and married the young lady and all that. Boy, I know he wishing he had never came to the Falcons. And Tat McKinley, man. Tat, man. I don't even know what Tat doing, man. Is Tat playing now? Has he been playing? It's kind of weird because I still see him draft night, and I still see Deion Sanders trying to calm him down on stage. That picture stays in my mind when he was doing that. And I remember great deal of folks, and I promise you it wasn't me. Great for, oh, you see him? He got that dog in him. He got that dog in him. And I was saying, nah, he just might be a little off. And unfortunately, it kind of turned that way. But yeah, I'll pass on those two. Oh boy. David says, how about Chuck Smith and Brent Grimes? Okay, so for me, as well as Chuck Smith was, I don't think Chuck Smith would be that much of a game changer. Chuck Smith was very solid. Chuck Smith was not an all-star, all-pro. Put him in there, and I'm super sure he's gonna do the job. You know, Chuck Smith is awesome. Let me make that clear. Awesome. But for me, he wouldn't be a plug and play. Brett Grimes, that could be a plug and play because Brett Grimes held it down. I put Brett at that other corner, and that would be good for me. Eldridge says, "LOL, it was a mistake. I mean, Uncle Steve's." Yeah, like Smitty would have been like, "Man, I'm getting them all today." Y'all make sure y'all like the video, man, and don't forget to subscribe like Eldridge is doing, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, it's just a bummer what they doing on Facebook. I guess Facebook is like we seeing way too much of this StreamYard in here, and we want y'all to do it our way. So PJ is in the house. PJ says Dion and Ray Boo. Look, let me tell you something. Ray Boo was somebody I was thinking about instead of Mike Ken, but I'm thinking for the 2024 season, I got it. If I'm gonna protect Kirk, and Kirk is already kind of gimpy, that's somebody I'm gonna get. I almost said Ray Boo because if y'all remember when Ray Boo was here, he had that corner shut down. Ray didn't play in the movie Belly. I have not seen Belly. I just thought about that. I haven't. I've never seen Belly. So add me to that list. That's interesting. Brian says, coming from a military family, I low key feel ashamed to say I've never seen Apocalypse Now. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. It's gonna be a morning after. You'll know it when you see the movie. Yeah, check it out. It's actually really good. That's a good. Brian Davis says Wallace Francis and Alfred Jenkins, boy, two of the best to ever do it in Atlanta uniform. With all due respect to Julio Jones, Roddy White, um, Terrence Mathis, and folks like that, man. Alfred Jenkins, hands down, has got to be not even so much for talent, because again, we're talking about a different game. Alfred Jenkins was balling when they weren't passing the ball like they are now. Like anything past 1984, and I would really say the advent of the West Coast offense and stuff like that, they weren't throwing the ball around like that. Maybe a couple of teams, old AFL teams were, but they weren't throwing the ball like that. And Alfred Jenkins was putting up big numbers, and so was the Reverend Wallace Francis. They held it down. Um, Ray says, Greg, put your link. Yeah, Greg, please put your link in the chat for me, Greg, if you don't mind. I always say that, and I'm not as technologically sound sometimes. So if you don't mind, put your link in the chat so people can make sure they hit it and copy it and get in touch with you so they can get those shoes. Thank you, Ray, for bringing that up. John says Tom Pridemore, yes, sir, and Claude Humphrey, the guy they call nose tackle. They call him the forklift. I forget their name. Are you talking about Big Grady Jackson? I'm trying to think who else you talking about at the nose tackle. I'm trying to think who you talking about. Trying to scroll on my little Falcons list right here, so I'll look it up too. Antoine, what's going on, man? Say, Greg, I have a pair of shoes I want you to work on. How can you get? There you go. So, Greg, please, if you're still out there, Greg, put your link in there for me, brother. Put your link in here so we can get you some shoes, brother. Get everybody these shoes. Antonio says, I'd also bring back Keanu Neal to play with Bates in a prime Dwight Freeney. Wow. Because, we didn't even get prime Dwight Freeney, and he was still good. I mean, I'll say Calais played the role a little bit better. Freeney got more love because he was on that Super Bowl team. But Freeney, yeah. Now, prime Freeney was the Colts. We got getting ready to leave Freeney, but he still played a big part. Freeney was a bad boy. Freeney was a bad boy. And yeah, Neil would be a definite nice partner with Jesse Bates, do his thing. Big John says Matt Ryan was the best draft we picked up in '08 because the franchise was doomed. And he'll never, ever, ever, maybe again, maybe 5-10 years from now, he will never get the credit that he deserves for quickly helping to turn this franchise around. Again, remember, we went from '06, Mike Vick, getting ready to learn the West Coast offense, Bob Petrino. We all know what happened in '07. And then in '08, we were like, well, we're going to be building for about 3, 4, 5 years. And in those 3, 4, 5 years, we made the playoffs 4 out of 5 times, including an NFC championship berth. I know we didn't have the great success in the playoffs during those years, but at least we were in the running. At least we were in the playoffs. And 5 straight winning seasons, something that I would love to get back to if we could. Travis says Tat was with the Cowboys. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So probably hanging out with Dan Quinn. Maybe he'll end up getting a leash of life over with the Commanders this year. John says, then he gave us 14 years of greatness. I say 12. I say 12. The last couple of years, John, let's keep it real. Not the last 2 years. Not the last 2 years. Eldridge says Jeff Van Note and Andre Rison. Jeff Van Note, absolutely, Eldridge, and I appreciate you, brother. Saw you sub on that. Thank you so much. Jeff Van Note, that's another one. If somebody said Mud Duck earlier, I would take Jeff Van Note over Mud Duck. Not saying Mud Duck is not good. Mud Duck was super solid, but Jeff Van Note was different. Yeah. And Andre Rison, that would actually be a nice receiver. Somebody else to put on that other side. Eldridge says another movie I've never seen is Lord of the Rings. Yeah, join the club on Lord of the Rings. I've never seen that. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna it's gonna take kind of a almost special type. I don't get, just like Game of Thrones. I'm gonna tell you what, and I the only reason I started even thinking somewhat of Game of Thrones because uh they used to throw these clips out on Facebook, the little shorts. And I start watching, and I was like, oh, okay. That seems like that might be good, but I'm not, again, medieval type stuff like that. Some people like that. So Travis says, I've never seen Super Bowl 51 as I flashed that Men in Black device. I wish we could all do that, man. I wish we could all do that. Jalen says Kearney and Tuggle. That would be 2 really good additions if we could get in there. Again, as y'all coming in, make sure y'all like the video if you haven't. Subscribe today like Eldridge did for me. I appreciate him joining us on the YouTube side. Again, YouTube is getting ready. I'm sorry, not YouTube. Facebook is getting ready to stop the third party apps. So I appreciate those of you on Facebook uh, taking a move over to YouTube because we'll probably won't be able to do a lot of streaming into Facebook. I think it's April 22nd. So I think that's the week before the draft. So that's very important. Uh, Dre says, I know this isn't on topic. Whenever we talk about past Falcons, he always pops up in my mind. With the tape on him coming into the draft, it hurts me to my core that Parade Jerry, oh, Parade Jerry was Parade Jerry. See, that's why I know we tend to always pay attention to what happened last. A lot of people always Vic Beasley was bust, Vic Beasley a bust. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Vic Beasley was uh the best of all times. Whatever, but I will say Vic Beasley at least gave us at the most critical time one of the best years in Falcons history at the defensive uh end position. And he got I think 2 more years, I think, where he had I'm pretty sure where he had I'm putting up his stats now. Okay, hold on one second here. Vic Beasley. Okay, he had 4 sacks and 15 and a half, which led to NFL that year. 5 sacks and 17, 5 sacks and 18, and 8 sacks in 2019. I can't call him a bust. He's disappointing because of the um how high we drafted him. But I mean, Parade Jerry, that was woo, that was serious bustable type stuff. But yeah. Atlanta Bird Games in the house. What's going on, Tidy? Y'all make sure y'all shout out to Tidy on Atlanta Bird Gang. He is on YouTube as well. Please subscribe, like, and share out those videos from my buddy Tidy. He said, Steve, I gave Matt Ryan my fair share of criticism, especially towards the end, but we are now seeing how extremely difficult it is to find a legit franchise quarterback. They are not sold at Target. No, they are not. And I was mentioning part of that as well. It's the appreciation for him. And I'm telling y'all, I know he said they should be coming out with something in a couple of weeks talking about his retirement and stuff. I'm hoping and I'm thinking he will probably retire as a Falcon. But I hope when he has his Ring of Honor thing that they make the biggest deal out of it because folks, whether he's your favorite or not, he is right now the most important Falcon. I didn't say most talented. I didn't say most Pro Bowls, most all of that. But he is probably the most important franchise player we've had in the history of this franchise. No doubt. And he'll get his flowers hopefully when all of that happens. So. Greg says Scott Case. Greg, please put your link in the chat, brother. Everybody's asking about your shoes and stuff. And again, I'm not good at that through the StreamYard, putting that out. Please put your link in the chat so people can get with you with your shoes, please. I appreciate you, brother. Tidy says, what? Oh man. He said, I've never seen either Black Panther movie. Man, bruh. Dog. No, man, we might have to do some things, bruh. They have to put out the oh man, let's see it. Folks giving you no love. Scooter, what's going on? He said, wow, Tidy. Antoine said, what's good? What's good? ABG. Uh Trey says, Tidy, turn in your black card. Oh man. Now I don't know why you didn't watch it. I don't know. You might not be a Marvel person or something like that. I will tell you this, and I'm a huge Marvel person, and I actually was concerned about how the Black Panther was gonna come on the big screen. On the big screen, the Black Panther, probably next to maybe Civil War, out of the Marvel movies, loved Endgame, loved the Avengers thing. Black Panther might have been the best Marvel movie, period. And uh Chadwick, God bless him. Uh yeah, he played that role. And even more than that, Tidy, if you're a Michael B. Jordan fan, I've seen him in good stuff. He played the villain, and it was almost a villain without blowing the movie for you, because I'm sure the other 99.8% of black people seen it. But man, they don't have movie theaters maybe down there in central Georgia. I don't think they gotta leave him alone. No, that's a really good movie, man. Michael J. Fox. Michael B. Jordan was awesome in that as well. Really good movie, man. Brian Davis says Jumpy Gathers forklift. I don't know. I never heard. Jumpy sounded like his nickname. I'm not sure, but Jumpy was decent for us. Smart Rod, what's going on, man? He said Matt Ryan gave us consistency, not greatness. Let's not confuse the two. Um, a fair, a fair statement. Here's the problem, and I know exactly where you're going, Smart Rod. In a franchise that's so depleted of talent, so depleted of consistent winning over the years, when you get that small glimmer, a small glimpse of what a winning type quarterback can be, and Matt Ryan won more than he lost, in fairness. Nobody's mistaking him for elite, but it is kind of, you know, when you look back at what we just went through the last two seasons, it makes you appreciate prime Matt a little bit more. Not trying to tell you he's the greatest, not trying to tell you he supplants Tom Brady, either Peyton Manning, or something like that. All I'm saying is it was nice to at least have a quarterback for a while that was at least pretty decent. So, I mean, you know. Antonio says, Tidy, your new name is today because you need to watch them ASAP. Now, I didn't think the second, and it's kind of weird. I didn't think the second Black Panther was as good as the first, and I get it because they probably had to rip a lot of the stuff because of Chadwick Boseman's passing. But yeah, Tiny said, y'all, wow. Yeah, that's kind of a surprise. There, I ain't gonna lie to you. I kind of would have thought um, most people would have seen that. But again, that's why I'm asking the question for those of you just coming in to say, not only two Falcons that you from the past that you would put on the 2024 roster, and it would immediately make us a championship contender. And the second question, a very popular movie that you haven't seen. Smart Ride says two good additions would be Tuggle and Deion Sanders right now. Tuggle would actually be a really good one, and Deion Sanders would be that other side, the other cornerback on the other side of AJ. That would really be nice. For those of you who've also come in late, my choices were Mike Ken because I just not sure I have pass blocking faith in Caleb McGarry because I gotta have that line solidified for Kirk Cousins if I want him to get to at least the second year of this contract. And I would get Claude Humphrey at defensive end with a close second to John Abraham in that. Facebook user says Tim Dwight. I mean, Tim Dwight was a nice little special teams piece, and he caught a pass or two. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. Ah. That one Falcon fan said we need pass rush and secondary help. We need to go mostly defense. We can also draft a wide receiver in Lad McConkey and a quarterback in Spencer Rattler. Dallas Turner, Jared Verse are a must. We cannot pass on sacks. It'll be interesting to see what we end up doing at that number 8 position. There's gonna be movement because it seems like unless New England, which today the coach actually came out, I think Coach Mayo said the Patriots are still open to offers for the number 3 position. So team like Minnesota, who just acquired a second first round pick, don't be surprised if you see some movement from Minnesota to get either to that number 3 or number 4. Now I don't know why they would go to number 4 because I have a sneaky suspicion if nobody deals with New England that they're going to pick another quarterback at that position. Now you can't tell me they're going into the year with Jacoby Brissett with the thought of he's going to be your future guy. I don't see that being a Geno Smith situation, not in New England. Tom Brady screwed it up for everybody. That anybody that comes in there now after him is just kind of doomed because you are basically having to supplant a legend, and that's going to be hard to do that. John Higgins says, "Yeah, that's who it was. Jumpy Gathers." Okay, thanks out there. And I didn't realize that was his nickname. I'll be brutally honest. I did not know that. I just knew him as Jumpy. So Antonio says, I wouldn't choose a receiver in this draft until all of our defensive needs are met. Rattler will be there after the third, in my opinion. Probably so. I don't think Spencer Rattler is going to get any second round. I think once you get past the little second tier of quarterbacks, first 3 are gonna go top 3 or 4, meaning Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and then I think that next level will be JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix, and Bo Nix. Uh, and Bo Nix is really on the question mark there. Then I'll see where you start talking about people like maybe Joe Milton, maybe Spencer Rattler, and people like that. I think I don't see the Falcons. I see the Falcons getting a young quarterback in here, but I don't see them using a maybe that second, third round pick, but I don't see them using the second round pick on a quarterback unless it's something that we don't know. False Start says second Black Panther could have been so much better if they would have just recast T'Challa. I understand the situation about Chadwick, but a recast would have been understood by fans. As a Marvel guy, uh, I say the same thing. There was a storyline. I used to read those comics. I mean, I was all Marvel all day. There was a storyline that had his sister fill in for him as the Black Panther. So that didn't stray away from the original concept of the comic. But I'm with you too. I do think they probably should have recast that and moved on with that. And I know people would have understood. Antonio says, if they go receiver in one of the first 2 picks, I'm going to be heated. Be Get ready for anything, Antonio. Because here's the one thing, the reality of the situation is You want to surround as much as we got to get defense. There's absolutely no doubt we do. But you also have to remember that we need to give Kirk Cousins as many weapons as he can. Darnell Mooney is nice. Rondale Moore is a good call. Neither of those guys are considered number ones, and in some cases, not even number twos. Mooney was probably his first year he was, but you need that legit guy on the other side of Drake. Because I'll be honest with you, I've seen so far of Drake. I've seen Drake be really good, but we got to make sure he's a number one. You know what I'm saying? He was a number one on this team that was void of talent at the wide receiver position, but is he truly a number one guy? I don't know. Where would he be if he was on another team? Say, just trying somebody who's wide receiver rich. You can't. We gotta be open to that. If Marvin Harrison drops somehow, if people overshoot and say, you know what, let me jump to number 7, Michael Penix, I can't wait. I got to get him. And then somebody says, you know what, don't need Harrison, and he drops to number 8, you better take him. So I'll never say never. Gatsboy says first 3 picks, edge, cornerback, wide receiver. I wouldn't be mad at that particular I wouldn't be mad. Would anybody be upset if we got Joe Alt at the number 8 position? I don't think I'd be upset at that either. Whether he would 100% be ready to play today or not, you better look out for that offensive line. I think we found, by whatever means it was, we found a great pick in Bergeron. Dahlman, and we really need to get a center. So that we need to check that out, y'all. Got another super chat in the house. What we got?
They say why, Uncle Steve will read your comment. Why? Because I like it that way.
That's my buddy John Harris in the house with the eye test. Again, y'all make sure y'all check out the eye test. Please support those guys. 10 o'clock Wednesdays, they have their forums over there. John and Winston Thornton and the gang taking care of business. He said, speaking of Marvel, I remember why the first Captain Marvel was killed off, but he was my favorite superhero. Can't accept the new female. Yeah, they did later on have a female Captain Marvel, but the original Captain Marvel was a guy. I know where we are in 21st century, blah, blah, blah. Get it, got it. But yeah, the original Captain Marvel in the comic books was a guy. So it is kind of hard to kind of put your head around that. But it is what it is. Thank you, John. Appreciate you, brother. Because Antonio says Caleb is causing issues because the Bears players are already telling Caleb to slow down with the diva stuff because they aren't trying to hear it. And when he comes, because it will be checked. I've seen some of the things that have been allegedly said. I know the thing when he said he wanted to be legendary was him. But some of the other stuff that I've seen, I haven't really. I think that's a lot of his people. They were talking about that on. I don't know whether that was the Pivot. I think that was the Pivot. Or one of the other shows where they were saying his team was doing a lot of talking, right? About what he was saying. And trust me, don't get me wrong. You don't want to come in there with the diva attitude at quarterback and you haven't played one down uh, at all. But today, y'all, it's so hard to believe every post you see and about everything everyone says. I would wait to see the young man have a press conference because I'm sure people are gonna ask him, "Dude, did you say this? Did you say that?" And maybe this might be something. Maybe he has too many chatters in his inner circle. Because if you have people putting out all your business that you think like that, I mean, they might be messing up your money. But it's a concern. It's definitely a concern because you have some football players coming out criticizing them, saying, "Oh, yeah, be careful," because that might not be that young man. It might be some wannabes that just put that stuff out. Jay Diaz, what's up, man? He said can't rule out wide receiver after the last few. Oh no, you can't. I was saying, Jay, be ready for anything. You're absolutely right. You can't rule it out. You can't. Brian, I think you were talking about the Joe Alt thing. Yeah, I don't blame you one bit. I think we got to look out for our offensive line, man. Antonio says the same thing. I take Alt at number 8. Antonio said, I would love to be a fly on the wall where you do your super chat recordings and catchphrases. I have a warped mind sometimes, Antonio. So I really do. So it you would be saying, "Wow, he really did that, and put that together." So it's crazy, man. He said it's been found. He makes the tweets and then deletes them. Oh, okay. Deletes them too after they come from him. Yeah, maybe. And now if he's doing that and people are seeing screenshotting things coming from his account, then yeah, he probably does need to tone that down some. I hope and pray that it's somebody that is in charge of his account and maybe doing some things that might not they shouldn't be doing when you start thinking about it. But hey, hopefully, hopefully that's not him. But listen, I appreciate y'all. I didn't mean to come on too long, a little bit over an hour today. That's about what I planned on doing. But I appreciate y'all playing. Anyone else that's coming in, please ignore the first 3 or 4 minutes of the video. I'm sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties for the first 2 or 3 minutes, but we got rolling. I thank you. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Trying to get it to 2,000 subs before the season starts. We just crossed the 1,500 mark last week, so I appreciate the support. Let's keep it going. For those on Facebook watching, please make sure in the next 3 to 4 weeks switch over and subscribe to YouTube channel Uncle Steve's Lounge because we won't be able to stream into some of the groups on Facebook in late April, and I think that's before the draft. So if you want to catch us on the draft coverage, please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Until then, everyone have a great Sunday. We're going to try to sneak in here for the Monday Minutia tomorrow, talk a little bit more Falcons, continue to answer the questions for us tonight. Everyone have a great night tonight. It's supposed to be a nice week weather-wise, except for one day or two. Get out and enjoy it. And we'll talk to everyone later on. Everyone have a beautiful night.